As we look back at this year marked by a global pandemic, we are extremely grateful for our ministry partners around the world. Their diligent work during such a difficult time has been inspiring. Ryan Binkley and his family have been our missionary partners in Chiang Mai, Thailand since 2016. Ryan works with the Chung Doi Church of Christ and with two of our nonprofit partners in Southeast Asia, Urban Light and Eden Ministries. During the pandemic, these two ministries shifted some of their focus to meeting the most basic needs through providing daily meals to thousands of people and places of safety and refuge for people who needed a home.
Urban Light is one of the only organizations in Thailand that focuses on boys and young men who are victims or who are at risk of becoming victims of sex trafficking. Urban Light is also committed to preventing trafficking happening in the first place. One of the projects that Highland has supported the last few years is preventing children in migrant communities of Chiang Mai from falling victims to human trafficking. These migrant families are often stateless and unable to find work in Chiang Mai. Instead, they send their children to sell flowers on the side of the road to make a few dollars for their family each day. Often these children stay out on the streets to 10 or 11 at night. These kids are at risk to being exploited, and so Urban Light has been working with these families to keep their kids off the streets and find other ways of making a living that doesn't put their children at risk. Our other partner in Southeast Asia is Eden Ministries in Yangon, Myanmar. Eden exists to help victims of human trafficking to recover and start a new life outside of prostitution. They also aim to protect children and families in some of the poorest areas of Yangon. With the pandemic closing down factories in Yangon, and now with the military takeover earlier this year, Myanmar is in really dire circumstances economically. Eden has seen an exponential increase in the number of women and children being exploited in Yangon over the last several months. As people are without jobs and opportunities, it becomes even easier for traffickers to seize on people's despair, to draw them into a life of slavery. Over the last 4 years, Highland support has gone to fund Eden's community centers that are around different parts of Yangon. As the situation has deteriorated the last year, Eden has formed dozens of small groups at these centers that serve as lifelines for desperate families and individuals. Through these groups, Eden offers counseling to victims. They offer microloans to start small businesses. They provide clean water to those who don't have it. And they provide hot, nutritious meals to some of the poorest who are without work. They do all of this amidst the threat of violence from gangs and the military. It's been amazing to see the joy on the faces of the people of Myanmar, even during these difficult times, because of the work that Highland is doing through Eden.
We also partnered with the Arab Baptist Theological Seminary in Beirut, Lebanon. Highland supports a peacemaking initiative called Heb Swamila, or in English, Bread and Salt. Young Christians and young Muslims sit down for a meal together to discuss their beliefs, find common ground, and learn to be friends. ABTS graduates go back to their homes all across the Middle East and Northern Africa to begin similar peacemaking groups with young people in their hometowns.
Hello, brothers and sisters at Highland Church of Christ. Greetings from ABTS Beirut, Lebanon. My name is Rima Al-Khouri. I'm the Peacemaking Field Coordinator. I am leading the Khibz Mellah Peacemaking Initiative at ABTS. Khibz Mellah brings together Christian and Muslim young people to share their meals, openly discuss their faith, all together propelling them to seek the common good of their communities. It's so wonderful to see healing, reconciliation, and openness among the youth. In addition to the work we are doing in Lebanon, we have groups happening in Sudan that are led by ABTS graduates. It is encouraging to see them persevere despite the political situation and unrest in Sudan. It was inspiring to see Sudanese Christians and Muslims coming together for peacemaking, building friendships, and enjoying a time well spent. Please pray for more groups to emerge in areas of conflict. Thank you so much for partnering with us to see God working in Lebanon and in Sudan.
This year has been difficult for the entire world, but we are proud of how Highlands partners are finding ways to share the love of Jesus to hurting people in the midst of global pandemics, political unrest, and military takeovers. Our ultimate prayer is that the people of Thailand, Myanmar, Itu, Beirut, and beyond will feel the hope, peace, joy, and love of Christ and find restoration through Him.